guys, it is Gwynn here from Getting Creative, and I wanted to share with you this project that has been a hit for us in our shop. We've used it for birthday party gifts, we've used it as a birthday party theme, we've done it for kids' workshops. Everybody loves something a little personal, and especially kids. Something with their name on it is just exciting. And so we started offering these. Well, Cuddle just made it 100 times easier than what we were having to do, because we would set up the whole kind of background, the scored letters, it was a whole lot of steps. And so when people would ask me about how to set them up, I was like, oh, you're not gonna like it. But Cuddle just made it super simple. Let me show you guys how easy this template is to use. All right, so once you are inside of the Cuddle template, you will have kind of everything you need right in front of you. So right in here is where you're going to type in your name. Let's just, for grins and giggles, we're going to put in my son's name. He's already made one, so I'm not cutting him one today. But we'll put in this right here. It already has this preset to make the project about 18 inches wide, which is what we usually shoot for when it comes to the size of these, because it's big enough that it's exciting, but it's not so big that smaller hands get tired of painting it. You can come in here and change this, but it is preset to make it 18. Now the cool thing about it is, though, it also has a constraint for the height of your project, which is something that I kind of struggled with when I was designing these one by one, because a name like Levi being 18 inches long kind of works out. But if I do something like AJ, if I were to make that 18 inches wide and 18 inches tall, that's going to make this thing massive. Or if I have a longer name like, now I've got to try to think of one, Madison. That one's going to have a lot more, and this is still going to set it up to where she has an 18-inch wide name. I think this helps with figuring out the sizing on it without too much guesswork involved there, and it also helps you with your pricing. You already know roughly how big of a space in your wood you're going to need. So that's already got that put in there. So you know what? We'll play with the name Madison. I really like this font in particular. All of the pieces are very thick in it, so there's no thin parts, and especially when you're working with small hands, sometimes it's nicer to have nice thick pieces than anything that's really thin and scripty. The eye dots are also ginormous, which is fantastic because then you're not losing them in your honeycomb tray. But you can go in here and choose other fonts. They have some up here in the recommended section that all kind of have this kind of thick option to it, which is awesome. I love how they put this together. That takes a lot of the guesswork out. But you can go in there and get as fancy with it as you want and find all the fonts you want to play with. But we're going to stick with this one, which is the original font that I used too. You can change the spacing and things like that, but I really like the parameters exactly as they are. We've set the outline thickness to have a good thick background and base for these letters to set down on. Again, it's great for small hands, and it gives them a good foundation for their sign. And then the hole sizes are set to 0.16. That's what we use on almost anything that we're going to put a jute hanger through, because when you pull the jute from the backside, that's how we do ours. When you pull it from the backside, if you do 2 to 3 knots right on top of each other, it's going to stay in that hole perfectly, and you don't ever have to worry about trying to run it all the way across this back part and having some hang out. So that's awesome too. Like I said, they've made my job so much easier with having all this stuff there. So we've got this name here. You can kind of see which parts are going to be cut. This is how it's going to set it up when you download the file. It's going to have this background piece is going to be cut. The holes will be cut. These right here are going to be pre-scored into your background. You don't even have to think about that part, because I used to have to do an inset and play back and forth with all the parameters, but Cuddle made it so easy. I should have asked them to do this a long time ago. And then, of course, your 3D letters are going to print. So when I export this one, export SVG, we're going to download that. And then I use Silhouette software primarily for all of my extras. I'm going to open. It's going to open just like that, ready for me to use. The holes are already in place. The background is ready to roll, and it's right at 18 inches. And then all of this is set up. They really took all of the guesswork out of this, and this is such a great project. Now, of course, kids and adults alike love anything personalized with their name on it, but we wanted to take the party up a notch, so we introduced a glow party. We got black lights, neon paint, and I'm gonna give you all the details on that, but let me just say, the kids love it. So let's talk a little bit about the neon paint we used for this paint party, and we've used it for a couple of other things, and the kids love it every single time. Now, I will tell you, the paint that we use is not glow in the dark, it is neon, so it needs a black light to light up the way that it does, but we make it so that the signs will look cool. Even if you don't have a black light at home, it's still gonna have kind of that neon color. It's just not gonna glow the same way without a black light. But I will link the lights we use, the paints, the sponges, the whole 9 yards in the downloadable that'll have kind of our full rundown of stuff. But I am using the neon paints from Craftsmart. This is the Michaels brand paint. They have 5 colors, and they have, okay, I will say this. They have a yellow. I could our store was out of it when I needed it, and I haven't had to refill our bottles yet. But this is the folk art neon one, and this one I grabbed at Hobby Lobby. But these are all, they're different neon colors. There's orange, yellow, pink, green, and blue. And I've had a request a couple times for a purple, and unfortunately I haven't been able to find a neon purple. It might exist, but I haven't found one. But these two guys together make a really pretty purple, and so we've been able to offer that to our girls who are asking for it. But one thing I will say about these is they are a very opaque paint, and they don't have great coverage on their own. If you've ever tried to use a neon yellow to paint like a softball design, you know what I'm talking about. But our trick is to start by coating with a color, a normal paint color that's similar. So we have a turquoise, a hot pink. We have this one that's called Venom Green. It's a Glidden paint color. So it's already kind of got that limey to it, and then a yellow and an orange. It does not have to be exact, but something similar to the color that they're going to put on top of it. Base coat it with that, and then add the neon on top of it. So when we run our workshop, we get everybody set up, we paint the base coat with all the lights on, get that part filled in nice and solid. We have them paint their background piece. We did black on this one just because it makes the colors pop really, really bright. And then base coat each of the letters. Once that starts to dry, that's when we start pouring the neon paint. We flip on the black lights and everything kind of lights up. And it's so fun because the kids immediately are like, whoa, this is awesome. And they start realizing, you know, clothes that are lighting up, other stuff around the room. We've done a couple of glow parties now, so there's a lot of glow paint on our tables that light up, and it's tons of fun. But yeah, so that's when we switch over to the glow paint, and they just do the same process right on top of it. What we have our kiddos do is we use little paint palettes like these. I got these in a huge bundle, and so it saves me from paper plates and colors mixing. So I love these little pieces. I've got them linked in the downloadable as well. And paint sponges, you'll dip, 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 and then we dab, dab, dab. So we've got a whole kind of thing along with that. So you'll dip your sponge into your base coat first, and then you'll dab, 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 dab all over your letters. We don't pre-assemble. We glue after everything's dry, but you get the idea. We do all of our base coat, and then we go back in with our neons and dab just right on top of it. I don't even give them a separate sponge for it because it still coats just fine. And then we go back in with some wood glue. We're big fans of Type Bond Original. Some wood glue to glue on top of it, and then just like in the Cuddle template, there's little holes in the top corners here. You can kind of see where they're at. These are already set up and designed to be in the template, so you don't even have to fuss with finding where it needs to fit on there. But those little holes will cut right into that top part. You add a hanger, and their sign is ready to roll. Like I said, we love the glow parties. The kids love them, and they're so much fun. But like I said, if having glowing lights hanging up, because this is something you kind of need a dedicated space to do because the lights are not very portable. Even if you can't you can't do that setup, you can either do blacklight flashlights. Those are an option, or even just letting them paint them with fun colors in general and using the neon paint. I mean, this still looks really cool even without the black lights. Letting them use that paint in general, it's just fun. It's fun, and kids love simple, fun stuff. We host summer camp, and we actually found neon copy paper, and we made airplanes with it, turned on the black lights, and had them chuck those, and that was probably the most fun they had the whole week, despite all the cool projects we did. So it doesn't have to be this complicated for the kids to have fun. But yeah, I wanted to share all that with you. I love the Cuddle template. That's going to make this way easier because I used to hand place all the little bits and pieces, and so when they reached out to us about setting something like this up, I was super excited. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this template. Use it for birthday parties, gifts, cool gifts for mom to give to kiddos, all the things. But you guys have a good one. Bye.